Just a few days after the technical malfunction at the Punt Gall Dam and a 6-kilometer stretch of the Spoel River through a national park was decimated, opinions seem aligned.
As far as I understand, it's really a catastrophic incident for the aquatic environment in the River Spoel. The life in the whole river is completely wiped out, and it will take years, if ever, to restore this ecosystem.
It's really a disaster. You can tell it like that. It's an ecological disaster.
Those are 3 voices from interest groups connected to the story. We start with the last voice from Hans Lozza, spokesman for the Swiss National Park.
At the beginning, there was no water in the riverbed. Some of the animals might be killed in that phase. And later on, there was a spill with muddy water, and most of the fish in that river and other animals in this river had to die.
Lozza says a glitch at the dam caused the river level to drop below a necessary minimum, and then ducts were opened, releasing sediment and residual water into the river.
I don't know if this happened before. We didn't hear of any such a happening in other places. It's terrible that this must happen in a national park. Well, the question is, why could this happen, and what do they do that this won't happen again in a later time?
Police and cantonal officials are investigating what happened at the dam and whether changes to law or practice are warranted. Michael Casanova is project head for energy and water policy at Pro Natura.
We will see what the investigation will show, what really happened there. But normally we have to say that the regulations for the use of water power are quite good in Switzerland, since we've got quite a good law for the water protection. But they are on an ecological minimum.
Casanova says there could be more regulations in place in Switzerland, especially in regards to water levels in rivers and the management of residual flows. But he admits even laws can't prevent accidents.
Probably with more regulations, you would not have stopped a disaster or a malfunction or an incident like that. But I would say eco-friendly regulations for the use of the water power would help to restore all these ecosystems in Switzerland that are now under the influence of the use of water power.
Hydroelectric power is a major point of pride and power for the Swiss and neighboring Austria. Roger Pfammatter with the Swiss Association for Water Management says hydroelectric power makes up 55% of the total energy production in the country, though there are always risks.
Well, of course, there are impacts and risks with this technology, as with all other technologies as well. We do a lot in Switzerland for fish passes and other measures regarding reducing the environmental impacts of hydropower.
Pfammatter thinks the overall balance of power production, storage ability, and the impact on the environment is best with hydroelectric power. And he agrees with Casanova that more rules may not be the answer in the case of Punt Gall.
This is just a major incident which can happen. And it's really sad because in the particular case, with a lot of engagement has been tried to improve the environmental quality of the river in the last 10, 15 years with quite good success. And now, because of this incident, most of these results are gone.
The border comes down from that ridge here, which is called Murtarus. And this is the Swiss-Italian border, and it's at the same time the border between the Swiss National Park and Parco dello Stelvio, which is an Italian park.
Do I understand correctly that the River Spoel, this section that we're concerned about here, is actually between 2 lakes?
That's right. We have up here the Lake of Livigno. The lake itself, it's on the Italian part, and the dam is exactly on the border, but the power company is Swiss and is producing the energy for Switzerland. And further down, 5-6 kilometers further down, there is a compensation basin. From there, they are pumping up the water into the upper lake.
Can you talk about kind of the plan for the water level at this point? I assume it's still going to take some time, many weeks, before the breakup is complete.
No, it's still quite cold. At the moment, we have around 4 below zero, and the water is always very low in April, but it has never been so low since the 1970s, and it might also be one of the causes for the disaster that happened last week. place where the water comes out here. When our rangers come here, the riverbed was completely dry. On Saturday morning, they informed the power company, and they opened the valve at the basis of the dam. And instead of water, they had the big mud flow that came out of there. But they didn't stop it; they just let it go, and that caused a flooding with mud over 5 to 6 kilometers distance, and this killed all the fish and other animals that lived in the river. In the sediments in the lake there is no oxygen, so the material that came out was really black and stinking because there is a lot of organic material in there. And now this has been brought away by the first floods they produced. But for us, in the first morning we came here to see that, it was really terrible. Now maybe you don't see a lot of that because there is water running. It's a little flooding at the moment with around 3-4 cubic meters per second, but life isn't back again.
And this is on purpose to start to begin recovery in the riverbed?
Well, on one side to begin, and on the other hand also to bring the sediment away, because this material, it closes the ground so that the animals can't circulate from the water into the ground and back.
It's dark. It almost looks like cement in its consistency.
Yeah, that's right. The geologists talk about silt, so it's not as fine. It's not extremely fine, but it's fine enough to close all the holes, to seal the ground, and that's a problem.
Do we know yet, or is it part of the investigation, why there was so much sediment built up behind that valve?
Well, it's normal that there is a lot of sediment in such a lake because it's quite steep up there, and the lower the lake is down, the more risk there is that there might be a collapse of those sediments in the lake.
So if nothing is done, it's likely that this would happen again.
We hope that this will not happen again in this form. There should be a system that controls what really gets out into the riverbed, and if there is just dirt coming, that you can close it again. But what they did this time was they left it just a little bit open for 3 hours, and this brought a lot of mud and nearly no water, and this was the problem.
It may look superficially like everything's okay here at the river. We hear the water running. It looks to be functioning, but there is no life. We see cloudy water, and that's it. We don't see the tens of thousands of fish. We don't see the birds. We don't see much of anything except this running water.
Yeah, that's the real pity, yes.